The following video contains profanity and language that some viewers may find offensive. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm to hang out with my sister girl. Hey, sister girl on films. Hey, sister girl on films. Hey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Sister Girl on Films. And we are back sooner than I expected for another episode of Child. What is this? Yeah, I did not expect us to be meeting together so soon after the atrocious offering that was Mea Culpa. You know, I thought Tyler would give us a little bit of breathing room, but I guess he said, yeah, I thought wrong, bitch. Okay, so before I get to the ins and outs of this movie, let me go ahead and just get on my soapbox right quick before I jump down and ragtag Tyler's ass, okay? Because it already goes without saying that if you're here for this video, then you already know I thought this movie was a hot ass mess. But let me say this. As a former fan of Tyler Perry's work, I'm disappointed in Tyler Perry at this point. I know that's a lot. That's a lot. But at this point, I feel like Tyler Perry has abandoned his core fan base. And I don't think that it's a bad thing for him to branch out to other things and to expand his audience reach and things like that. But just straight up just like kicking your core audience to the curb is crazy to me. I think at this point, Tyler Perry is serving two masters. And I feel like one of them is really starting to take over. You know, what are those two masters? I feel like his core audience and what he really became known for versus this, which I don't know what this is over here. It's like he's starting to try to be a little bit more edgier and trying to appeal to more of a secular audience. Now, I'm not a diehard Christian. Let me just make that very clear, okay? So I don't mind, again, him branching out beyond just Christian-based Madea-type movies. But if you're going to explore or dive into those waters, maybe it's time for you to hire writers. Maybe it's time for you to have people look over your scripts. Maybe it's time for you to have other people direct. But what's going on here, I just don't even know, y'all. For me, it feels like this movie, because here I go jumping on my soapbox. This movie to me felt like Tyler Perry just wrote down every single plot, trope, idea that he's had in his whole entire career. Wrote them all on a piece of paper, folded them up, threw them in a grab bag, shook them up, pulled 10 out, and was just like, bow, here we go. I don't give a fuck if it makes sense or not. I don't care. I don't respect my audience, so I'm going to give them what the hell I want to give them, and they going to like it. That's how I feel at this point. And I think it's disappointing, and I feel like Tyler Perry owes his core base, Christian-based audience more than this. Them church folks stood beside him for decades. And now, what's the last thing that they had? That last Madea movie, I don't even remember the name of it. It was like 5 years ago. It's probably sooner than that. I don't know. But it was terrible. It was the one with like the terrible cut edits. And it was a hot ass mess. And I feel like he just threw them scraps. Just so he could start to appeal to a broader audience. That's what I got to say about Tyler Perry overall. And just my disappointment in him. Now let's go ahead and get into Marriage in Black. Divorce. So let's go ahead and get into Divorce in the Black. Yeah, that's it. Now this movie might come as no surprise to y'all. Is written, directed, and produced by Tyler Perry. Like I went to see, maybe there's some co-writers. No, it's him. That's it. Just him. Again. Meagan Good, who is also a producer on this film and has said that Tyler Perry finally paid her what she was worth. Girl, at what cost? At what cost, sis? And she plays Ava. And so Ava's here in the front, and she's sitting next to her husband, Dallas, who is played by Corey Hardwick, who was married to Tia Mowry. And so this funeral, honey, just hot mess express. Like the father, who is played by Richard Lawson, babe, we love him over here, okay? This is a Richard Lawson stan account, because we be watching him on the blaxploitation films. Neither here nor there. Richard Lawson plays Ava's daddy, and he's also a pastor. So he's giving the eulogy and speaking at this funeral. But the eulogy is giving shots. It's giving Kendrick and Drake. It's giving, I don't like this motherfucker, I'm gonna go ahead and ruin this funeral for him. He's talking about how your deeds catch up to you, and in the afterlife you can't outrun judgment. This ain't verbatim, y'all, okay? This is a paraphrase, okay? And basically insinuating that this person who they're having this funeral for is definitely, for sure, burning in hell. So the woman who I'm assuming to be the mother of this person that is being eulogized, I don't know if that's a word, it is today, is looking more and more irritated. And Dallas, Ava's husband, is sweating profusely. This ain't gonna go well at all. And so eventually the mom ends up like having an outburst, calling out the pastor, and it's like, are you trying to say my baby is in hell? The pastor, whose name is Clarence, Clarence is like, you know, it got to be said. Your family been around this town causing havoc all this time. You got to do right by these boys. And so Ava's looking like, oh shit. And so things are going left, and Clarence and the mama are going back and forth. And then eventually the mama's like, do you think the Bertrands need your money? Huh? And I'm like, sir, if you feel this way about this family, why did you agree to have this funeral at your church? And lady, if you know that y'all got beef, why did you agree to have this funeral at this church? Come to find out, they were letting them have the funeral there for free. So I get it, you know, free $99. I'll take it too. But she snatches off her hat and she's like, you know, we don't need nothing from you. Your daughter thinks she's too good. I knew we shouldn't have been dealing with you. And then she instructs her sons, grab your brother. And everybody's like, oh, no. She cussing in the church. Everybody's all in the uproar. And then she ends up taking her damn dress off. She got on a slip. Okay, she got a slip on. But she take her dress off in the church. Everybody's like, oh, Lord. So she ends up throwing the dress at Jean, who is Ava's mother, who is played by Debbie Morgan, who is gorgeous. I love me some her. And everybody's appalled. She's like, you think you just gonna hand me this little hand-me-down dress? We don't need nothing from y'all. And so she tells her sons again, I said, grab your brother, let's go. And so everybody in the church is like, no, you can't do that. And they looking a little hesitant, but then they ended up reaching for the casket. And she was like, no, leave the casket. So yes, they go into the casket, they grab the dead body of the brother, and they carry him out of the church. This was so unrealistic. I know people go off at church funerals. Now, I do know that. But to the extent that this happened, Tyler. Oh my God. So Ava runs outside behind her husband and his crazy ass family, and they ignore her. They put the dead body in the back seat in the bed of a Ford F-150 and scurry on down the road. And so Ava goes back in the church and she sees her friend Rona and Rona's fine ass husband Jim, honey. Apparently Jim is Dallas's best friend, and Rona is like, I don't know, why are you chasing after him? She's saying this to Ava. I don't know why you chasing after him. You should let his family go. Like, you know, them people are crazy. And Ava's just like, girl, this ain't the time. Like, bitch, read the room. It's a lot that didn't happen. I don't need to hear this right now. Normally I wouldn't bring them up, but they're a really important part of this plot. So yeah, them the friends or whatever. And so Ava goes and talks to her parents. And Pastor Clarence says, I had to write this down, y'all, because I couldn't believe it. Tyler, just what the fuck? He said, baby, I'm so sorry. I tried. I wish I could have done better. Say what now? Sir, you were not running in the Boston Marathon, okay? You weren't playing a piano recital. You were giving a eulogy at a funeral. What do you mean you wish you could have done better? You made a choice. You made a whole full-bodied choice to get up in that pulpit and say everything you did. So what do you mean you tried? What did you try? What did you try? Because I feel like what you tried to do was shame this family, and you did that, sir. So by all accounts, it was successful because you did what you intended to do. Tyler. Ava goes out to the trailer park where Dallas and his family live. Well, at least where his family live and where he's at. And so, child, the folks, they in the front yard. They done dug up a hole in the ground. And they done threw the body in there. And they're like, see, we knew we shouldn't have trusted your family to handle this. You know, we could have just buried him here with all the other Bertrands. I said, God damn, what's this, Pet Cemetery? Trailer Park Edition? Let me not give Tyler no goddamn ideas. He would have a whole zombie movie based on his family, child. So Ava finds Dallas sitting in this truck by himself, and she hops in the car and she starts talking to him about a memory she has, like when they were 17, and how him and his brother used to always work on that truck, and how her and her friend went to visit him, I think during like a fall dance or prom or something, and he ended up throwing oil on her dress. And she was like, you used to be so mean. And Dallas was like, what the fuck you doing in here? I said, oh, okay. Dallas was having none of it. I don't know why Ava just jumped in that car and went right straight to memory lane. Girl, this man is mad at you. He done gave your family the two-finger point shit that he done did in the whole movie that got on my nerves. He did it twice in the funeral. Annoying. He did that twice though. So that should have been your indicator of like, let me leave this Negro alone. So he basically like cusses her out. And she's like, Dallas, I love you. He's like, no, you don't. You don't love me. You're just trying to change me and all this other stuff. And so he tell her to get out the truck. She's like, what? We rode together. He said, I don't give a fuck. You need to get out this car before I drag your ass out of it. And you know I'll do it. Oh, Lord. Okay. Dallas is cray. Now, not for nothing, Corey Hardrick, I said Hardwick earlier. Corey Hardrick did a really good job in this role, but he was poorly directed. Okay? Because there were, and I'm sure it was, I guess was intentional, so many moments when he just wasn't looking at Megan. And I guess it was trying to be like a way to convey like disrespect, but it was awkward and odd. And I just feel like Tyler Perry doesn't give notes, or if he does, he just gives terrible notes. But either way, overall his performance was good, but it could have been better. That's all I'm saying. So Ava gets out the car and she ends up going back to her car. And so I guess she falls asleep in the car because the mean old mama comes banging on the windows like, what the hell you still doing on my property? And Ava's like, I'm just waiting on Dallas, you know, so we can go back home. She's like, well, Dallas, he's gone. And she was like, well, where did he go? Don't ask me no questions and get off my land. Okay, all right, I'm out of here. Ava leaves and she figures out that he's at the local bar in the town. And so she pulls up, and in the background you can hear Dallas and his brothers talking, and they like, you should have never married that bitch, and we don't like her. She trying to change you. She don't hear that, but well, she might hear it, child, but she didn't acknowledge it. But we can hear them in the background. And so she goes over and tries to talk to Dallas and asks him to leave. He's drunk. His brothers are drunk. He told her to get out. He ain't going nowhere with her. And she's trying to convince him like, hey, we got to go back home. And so his brother Morris, you know, tells her, just go back to the car. You know, I'll get him to leave. And so I'm like, okay. At least one of the brothers is pretty level-headed. I guess that's a plus, because the other two are assholes. And so while she leaves out, we see for the first time Benji. Benji is very handsome too. Very nice to look at. Big, tall drink of water, okay? And I was guessing that maybe he was like an ex. I don't know. But the interaction was like kind of awkward. It's like she was like kind of wanted to hug him, but not really. And so when Dallas and his brothers come out, they see Benji and they mad at like, oh, this motherfucker here, I guess he wants us to beat his ass again. And And Benji's a big dude. You know, he a big dude, you know, but you can't beat up 4 dudes, right? And so they surround him and they like, well, what you want to do? You want to leave or you want us to beat your ass again? And Benji really ain't saying a whole lot of nothing. Ava's trying to calm them down, trying to get Dallas in the car. He kind of pushes her away. The owner of the bar ends up coming out, shoots a couple of rounds in the air, and they all kind of scatter. Benji gets in his car. And so Ava's trying to get Dallas to get in the car. And he's like, no, I'm driving. She's like, Dallas, you are drunk. You cannot drive. He's like, what the hell I tell you? Shut your ass up. I'm driving. He's like cussing her out. And then she looks at the brother, Morris, tell him. And Morris is like, Dallas, like, let her drive. Like, you ride and she driving. And so Dallas is like, what you say to me? And so they start fighting. He basically beat up Dallas and put him in the passenger side. Just a whole mess. So Ava and Dallas finally make it back home to Atlanta, of course. Ava wakes up, you know, in the middle of the night and finds that Dallas is not there. So she goes into the bathroom and he's sitting on the floor by the toilet and he's like kind of passed out and she's like trying to get him to come back to bed. He basically reveals that he killed his own father. Your dad's dead? I had no idea. I don't know. Like, Tyler didn't take the time to build up a story before starting bullshit, so we don't know none of this. None of this was really kind of shown to us, that his father's death was a mystery. We didn't know that, Tyler. So it wasn't much of a reveal, you know? It felt very, like, random that he even said it. Even Ava was like, what happened? What'd you say? And so he goes on and on about, you know, why are you with me? I ain't shit. I ain't never gonna be shit. And you should just leave me. And Ava's like, no, I'm gonna love you through this. I just love you so much, Dallas. You are a good person. I done seen it in you. You was nice one time. You was nice that one time. We ain't seen it. As an audience, we ain't seen nothing. We have been immediately introduced to this man being an asshole. So all we can do is take your word for it, Ava. And it's looking real sketchy. But that's what they told us, that he got some good in his heart. Okay. The next morning, Ava's downstairs making breakfast. Dallas come down, just stank as ever. And she's like, hey, baby, you know, you want to get some breakfast before you go to work? And he half-ass kind of ignore her. And then she's like, hey, I wanted to talk to you about last night. What about last night? And I guess she was trying to bring up, you know, the whole thing about him, talking about his father. He pretty much shut it down. It was like, I don't even remember nothing from last night, and I don't want to talk about nothing. And I ain't got time to eat your nasty-ass breakfast. I got to go to work. Ooh, okay then. That night, Ava and Dallas have plans to go with Rona and Jim to dinner. And so Ava gets home from work, and Dallas is sitting there. And Corey also does this thing where he goes, like he sucks his teeth. He does it twice in the movie. Again, I don't know if this was his own bringing like Dallas to life, or is it some shit Tyler told him to do, but he did it a couple times. And so he's sitting at the counter and he seemingly is probably tipsy, almost drunk. And so he asked Ava, you know about the dinner tonight? And she's like, yeah, I think we're supposed to meet him at 7, you know. He was like, well, you ready to go? And she's like, it's only like 5:30, nigga, relax. She's like, let me get dressed. And I will come downstairs and we can go. Like, it ain't gonna take a good 45 minutes. 6:15, I'm ready. Sis was done a couple minutes early. She come downstairs looking cute. And she's like, hey, babe, I'm ready. Child, Dallas gone. He done left her ass to go to the damn restaurant. Child, that damn Dallas. So he gets to the restaurant. He's clearly drunk at this point. And so he walks in. And Jim is like, hey, Dallas, what's up, my man? And he was like, hey, what's up? And Rona was like, hey. He was like, I ain't talking to your ass. And y'all know what Jim said? Nothing. He said nothing. Sir, your friend, best friend, looked your wife in her eye sockets and said, I ain't talking to you, and you just gonna sit there and let that ride? He didn't even say nothing. He didn't even look bothered. And she was just like, this bitch ass nigga. Alice sits down and Rona's like, where's Ava? And he really like half-assed, not really answering her. And he was like, I left her ass at the house. And they was like, what? And so Rona goes out, calls Ava, and she's like, girl, I'll be outside waiting on you. So Ava gets there, and when she walks in and sits down, Dallas is acting real stank. And then he just blurts out that he want a divorce. He's all loud in the restaurant talking about how he's sick of this shit. He's tired of this. Rona is like, I don't know why you with him. He just disrespects you. And he was like, yeah, you right. I don't want to be in this relationship no more. I want a divorce. I'm sick of your ass. I'm sick of this bitch over here. Again, Jim ain't said nothing. He ain't said nothing. And so Dallas eventually gets loud, gets up, walks out. The manager ain't came over to talk to him. The server ain't came over to make sure everything is okay. This won't be the first time that Dallas has a loud ass explosive moment in public and ain't nobody saying nothing to him. Tyler, this ain't Sisters. This ain't Sisters. You're going to have to write some realistic shit if you're going to make movies. Because there ain't no way in real life a person, a man, a black man, going to be able to cut up like Dallas did in a public space and not have the police, first of all, called on them. Child, black men get called, the police called on them for just waiting in Starbucks to have a meeting. You know what I'm saying? Let alone cussing out your wife, talking about you want a divorce in this restaurant that I guess is supposed to be a fancy restaurant. Tyler, one thing that got on my nerves during this scene was the only person that really had for real lines was Dallas and his quasi monologue that he had. You had Rona saying little side stuff on the side like, this bastard, oh, I hate him, oh. But Jim and Ava were relegated to Dallas. 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 Quit saying his damn name, Tyler. Write some real lines for your actors to say. Saying Dallas with different inflections is not a conversation make. Oh my God, they said his name 20,000 damn times. It was getting on my nerves. Lord. Once Dallas walks away, Rona looks at Jim and says, do something. Girl, what he gonna do? What is Jim, big for nothing ass, gonna do? He let this man walk up in this restaurant, look you in your eyeballs when you said hi to him and say, I'm not talking to you. So what the hell you think he gonna do now just because he done walked out the restaurant? And Jim did nothing. Okay, moving on. So after all of this, Ava's upset because Dallas wants a divorce. And so she goes back to their little podunk town to go stay with her mom. Y'all, my assumption was that this was supposed to be her childhood room because of the bullshit that was on the wall. Y'all, look at this hodgepodge of shit on this wall. What is this? We got Will Smith on the wall, a couple of Will Smiths. Who the fuck is this person? What is this? And what is lava lamp? What is going on? Who was the set design person? Tyler. And then it don't even make no sense. It's just a collage behind the damn bed. Y'all know damn well we ain't have just our stuff just in this little right behind our bed. It would be spread out. Poster over here, this over here. Tyler. So the next scene, Ava is running. And as she's running, she's getting flashbacks of the good times with Dallas. That's how we're going to find out about the good times. Through a damn running montage in her brain, Tyler. Oh, Lord have mercy. I feel it. For some reason, first of all, I forgot to say this at the beginning. This movie is damn near 2 hours long. I think Mea Culpa was about that long. Tyler, you don't have shit to say for 2 hours. You barely got enough to say for 90 minutes. 70 would have been good for you. But 2 damn hours? And I feel like the only reason it was 2 hours because the shit that she had a montage about in her brain, I feel like was supposed to be the first half of this actual movie. If I'm being honest. I feel like that's probably what was supposed to be going on. The shit in her brain was supposed to be in the first part of this movie, and then the damn funeral. But he probably realized the runtime was maybe a little bit too long, maybe longer than what he was contracted for with Amazon. And instead of him having the good sense to cut out other shit, which I'll get to, he cuts out the part where we actually have some character development. He cuts out the part where we probably could have got to see Dallas and Ava in good moments of their marriage. And then we had a build up to like, oh, this nigga ain't shit. He kind of crazy. But now, I could be wrong about that though. I don't know. It's just a theory, a sister girl theory. So once Ava is done with her run, she goes back to her parents' house, and her mom is in the living room reading a letter that's apparently Ava wrote. Who she wrote this letter to, I don't know. It wasn't to her mama, because we later found out that her mama found the letter. How she find the letter? Did Ava write the letter while she was sad and crying? And anyway. This part of the movie pissed me off. This is probably the part of the movie that probably pissed me off the most. Because her mama looks up at her after reading this letter that details all the abuse that Ava has endured. Apparently, Dallas been hitting on her, spitting on her, golden showers, dirty Sanchez's. I don't know. I didn't read everything in the letter. I don't know. We didn't really get the cliff notes. But for sure, she said hitting and spitting, okay? And the mama looks up and says, What did I do wrong, baby? What did I do wrong? This is my fault. What? What? And so Ava's like, no, mama, no, it's not your fault. You didn't do nothing wrong. You didn't do nothing wrong. And then proceeds to talk about how she felt the pressure to have a successful marriage like her parents, and she didn't want to disappoint them. Ergo, kind of sort of calling out what her mama did wrong. Tyler. So this whole scene was a lot of victim shaming. Let me tell y'all why. Victim of domestic violence, to have somebody ask them, where did I go wrong in raising you? What you mean?
What do you mean by that?
What are you implying with this? And the mom goes on to say, I don't know where we went wrong. So you're blaming your daughter for being a victim of domestic violence. Tyler, the insensitivity at which you addressed this scene made me nauseous. It made me nauseous. This lady is a victim of domestic violence within her marital space. She comes from a very religious background where the idea of divorce and sticking through it and getting through the good and the bad is over-enforced. And you had the audacity to write this scene as a bonding moment with her and her mama, where her mama, after hearing Ava out, continues to hug her and say, this is my fault. What did I do wrong? Tyler, did you talk to any DV victims? Any, just one. There are millions in this country. I know you could have found at least one. Did you talk to any? Because this whole entire scene was not heart-warming. It was victim shaming. And her mama centering herself in that conversation pissed me off to the highest level of pissivity. And then Ava says, are you gonna tell daddy? Don't tell daddy. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna tell you daddy. It's just some stuff that he don't need to know. Okay, I guess. Maybe not. You know, that seems like something you don't want to keep away from your father. And then Clarence walks in and they're crying, and the lines Richard Lawson have been given to deliver are, Jen, you not still on your period, are you? Ava calls Rona And she asked Rona, listen now, listen. She asked Rona, did you tell my mama about the letter? Rona says, no. Ava said, okay, don't worry about it. She must have found it. Who was that letter supposed to be going to? How long had that letter been at that house? Because you just got there the night before. Conceivably, you could have written a letter the night before. But then you called Rona after you were upset about the letter that you wrote. Could have. I don't know. But who were you writing a letter to? Was it a therapeutic letter to yourself? Which, okay, fair enough. Was the letter supposed to go to Dallas? That nigga don't care. So who was the letter supposed to go to, Tyler? Clarence comes in and says, hey, baby girl, come to the feed store with me. While they're at the feed store, Benji just so happens to be there. And so Benji and Ava are talking, and Ava discloses that, you know, she's in town. She's back with her parents for a little bit because her and her husband are getting a divorce. She just needs to kind of get her mind right. And so, you know, Benji starts talking about how, oh my God, I too am divorced. And so if you need to talk to somebody about it, you know, you can talk to me because I've been there before. I feel you. I know what it's like. And so they're kind of going back and forth, and Benji kind of asks her out on a date, and she's like, no, I just need to focus on myself right now, and I don't really want to do all that, but it was really good reconnecting with you and seeing you. And then Clarence pops his head in between the damn baked beans and talking about, boy, that's all the game you got? Jesus Christ. Tyler, are you making a romantic comedy? Are you making a thriller? What is this movie? Like, because you retired Uncle Joe, is Clarence now the Uncle Joe of this movie? Because this grown man popping his head up to say, boy, that's all the game you got, is about the dumbest shit you could have ever written. I don't understand what this movie is supposed to be. It started off with the chaos at the beginning with the funeral, and it was, honestly, I'm going to say this. At this point of watching this movie, my feelings of nausea started to subside a little bit because I said, okay, I get it now. I went into this movie expecting Mea culpa type stuff, like the new Tyler Perry and all that. But he's actually trying to give us like old Tyler Perry, like, but just without Madea. Okay. So I readjusted my expectations.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I will learn later that would have been a fucking mistake. But let's go on. Let me not get ahead of myself. Ava and her parents are at their house. And Ed gets up. He's like, I want to show you something. So he grabs a VHS, puts it in. It's a fucking VHS of literally all of her highlighted moments. I'm not joking. Like the first scene is of her just randomly, literally just randomly playing out in the yard with looks like cousins or something. Which, I mean, maybe it was like a family reunion, maybe it was like a family cookout, maybe it was like a family picnic. I don't know. But it was recorded. And then he fast forwards a little bit. Then the next scene is her at like a recital or something, getting an award. And then he fast forward a little bit more. It literally is a progression. As she gets older, Tyler, I swear, you don't think about this shit before you write it or film it. Now, for you youngins who don't recall VHSs, VHS tape, you could hold maybe 6 hours of video, maybe, on the VHS. I might have to look it up. And the only reason why I'm saying 6 hours is because I can vaguely remember when we used to record movies off the TV. And you could probably, I think there was like maybe 3, maybe 4 lines on there. So 6 to 8 hours. Y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? You find your favorite one to put it, okay. Anyway, so you mean to tell me every single time Ava had a moment in her life, you went and grabbed your camcorder and that same VHS tape, and then you just kept adding on to that same one. Like, was it labeled Ava's Life Highlights? Tyler really be trying it. Tyler really be trying it. And I feel like at this point, this many years in the game, and you can't do better than this, Tyler. Why didn't you have just a photo album? Why the fuck would it be a video? Okay, I'm trying not to keep cussing. Okay. Side note. On the mantle, it's this random ass. Tyler, who are these people? Who this baby? Who? Is this supposed to be a grandmother and it's supposed to be baby Ava? This is my assumption. I'm probably giving you way too much credit. Or just a random ass prop. Tyler get on my nerves. Fast forward, she's still at this damn town. I'm like, girl, you ain't got no job? Like, what's going on? We ain't heard nothing about no job or nothing. How long have you been here? And the whole tone of the movie has just changed. From the beginning to this part of it. It felt like a Lifetime holiday fall romantic movie. Y'all know they have the city girl, the big time city girl goes back to her hometown to get her life together, usually after a divorce or a failed relationship. And then she meets the former love of her life. And her parents really like him and are trying really hard to get her to beat Tyler. Tyler. You mean to tell me in the middle of this movie, you just threw in a Hallmark Lifetime movie original? I just realized as I'm recapping this with y'all, that's literally what the hell the whole middle of this movie was a goddamn Lifetime movie. Just, Tyler, leave us alone. Okay, so anyway, Ava sees Benji at the fair, and Benji's there spending time with his daughter. We already met the daughter at the after church little situation. So we know he got a daughter. He's divorced. He has told us this 9,000 times at this point in the movie that he's divorced and he understands what she's going through because he's divorced. Did we mention he's divorced? Okay. And so Ava sees him and asks him, can her and him go for a walk? You don't see him spending time with his daughter? And he says, yeah, let me go find her mama. Come on, let me go find your mama. Bitch, what? Because up until this point, Dallas has been trying to holler at her. He was trying to holler at her at the feed store. She cut him off. He tried to holler at her after they got out of a church sermon. She cut him off. She didn't want to have nothing to do with it. I'm not here for that, Dallas. I'm sorry. I got to get my life together. Yada, yada, yada. Now when you see he is spending quality father-daughter time, now you want to grab this man and go for a walk so he can hand his daughter off to her mama? Girl, piss me off. And then you did all of that so y'all can sit in the back of his damn truck in the fucking haunted magnolia tree forest and listen to a goddamn song. Girl. So they're talking, and they're talking about how things would have been different if Dallas and his brothers hadn't caught her and Benji in the car that one time when they were 17. I said, 17? Now, mind you, remember, rewind to one of the earlier scenes when they were outside in the parking lot at the damn bar. And then the ignorant ass brothers came out to confront Benji and say he wants to put you in the hospital again. You was talking about something that happened 20 years ago? 20 years ago? This movie, y'all, when I tell you, it took me so long to watch this movie. Because I had to keep cutting it off because it was making me angrier and angrier and angrier. Because again, like I said in the beginning, this movie feels like Tyler Perry just wrote down a bunch of random ass fucking movie tropes, put them in a grab bag, randomly pulled them out, and just fucking said, here, I'm making a movie. There was no thought put into this. And you can't tell me he thoughts about this. Matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I would put money on it that this is an old throwaway screenplay from back in his Madea days. Conspiracy, write it down. Conspiracy. It felt like a stage play, and now that I think about it, knowing how nefarious Tyler Perry is, I bet you anything Tylarious had this shit sitting out in the file cabinet somewhere and said, oh, I forgot about this. Well, shit, let me make this into a movie right quick. Ashy mother. Ava decides to go back home, and we finally see Dallas again. Shit, I forgot about Dallas' ass at this point, because it's been damn near a whole hour of us being in fucking the middle of a Lifetime romantic comedy. And he done got a text message from one of his crazy ass brothers with a picture of Ava and Benji. And so now he done got mad, honey. And so, we find out that Ava is apparently a bank manager, the big wig at the bank. I don't know. She just kind of walked all in willy-nilly, but we know she worked at the bank, okay? And so she works there with Rona. And Rona's all excited to see her girl. Fair enough, that's her best friend. I get it. And so while they're chatting it up, Dallas comes barging in. He's like, oh, you been playing me? Where you been? I've been calling you. You ain't been answering my calls. My lawyer been trying to contact you so we can get this divorce taken care of. You need to have your ass down to the lawyer's office. All this stuff. And so Rona comes in. And it's like, what the fuck is you doing in here, nigga? I swear to God, I'll beat your motherfucking ass. She ain't say that. But that was the vibe that it was given. And so Dallas is like, oh, this is how you act in your job. She was like, fuck this job. I don't give a fuck about this job. You get your ass. Tyler, what are you writing? What? That's why I said, does Ava own the bank? Because what do you mean, fuck this job? Like, in front of customers. It's not like the bank just opened one of my in there. There's like a bunch of customers in there. Security didn't come over and say nothing to him. The background extras just sitting there. Nobody's like looking alarmed. This was the most, and let me just say, it's very clear to me, Tyler Perry does not like black women.
Yeah, I said it.
I have seen people say that, and I've been like, I don't know. He don't like black women. I'm sorry. After the way that he wrote these characters in here, and I've seen some dialogue from black men saying Tyler Perry don't like black men. And so I don't know why some black men are like ignoring the fact that Benji exists as a character just because Dallas exists. But, you know, to each his own. If that's how you feel, I'm not going to invalidate your feelings. If black men feel like Tyler Perry does not represent them well, then, you know, brothers, okay, amen. That's y'all fight to fight, and I ain't gonna step in the way of that. I'm just gonna say Benji does exist in this movie. As for the women characters in here, you got the mama who centered herself in her daughter's abuse. You got Dallas mama, bigger black woman, playing the evil witch of the Wicked West, okay? The evil wicked witch of the West. I couldn't get it out, y'all. And now we got Rona, who is ghetto, cusses out, fuck this job, I don't care. She's this black woman. She's her. Now Ava has a character arc, so I guess I can give him grace on that. But why she gotta have struggle love to begin with, Tyler? There's literally every black woman in this movie is a hot ass mess. A hot ass mess. So I'm sorry, Tyler. For me, you not beating the charges at this point that you like black women. I'm sorry, hell, you not beating the charges for me. So Ava shows up to the law office where they're having arbitration for the divorce. So Jim is there with Dallas, and she brings Rona. Since when are you able to bring a buddy to your divorce arbitration? I've never been divorced, so I don't know if that's like allowed. To my understanding, it's not. But y'all let me know in the comments. If you had to go through a divorce, don't give me all the details unless you want to. I will be glad. I will read the details, but you don't have to. Let me know if you were able to bring a pal, a buddy, a couple of friends to the meeting of the lawyers about the divorce, or were they like, hell no, it's just you, your soon-to-be ex, and the lawyers. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway. And so Dallas's lawyer is like, do you have your lawyer with you? And she's like, I don't need a lawyer. He was like, are you sure? Like, this is pretty important. You might want to have your lawyer here. Just, I've read through everything. I understood what I read. I'm just here to sign so I can get this over with. And so I'm thinking the way they're setting this up, that all shit, they didn't change the wording in this somehow, or Dallas did something he didn't like. Maybe now the house is in his name, or he about to really jack her up because the lawyer kind of looks at him, and then Dallas is like smirking, and so she's signing it, and it's looking like real like shady, and she's like, are we done with this? I'm done. And so divorce papers are signed. She walks out. It was just a regular divorce. Like, there was nothing that came up later. There was no trickery. There was no nothing. Tyler, why the fuck did you shoot that scene like that? Why? What was the point of that? I can't be the only one. I cannot be the only one that saw the way they were acting in that scene and thought, oh, well, this is about to come up again later. This will be a plot point later. Y'all let me know in the comments if maybe I was the only one. If y'all were like, girl, no, I just thought it was just a divorce. Y'all let me know. Rona has basically like a divorce party for Ava. And so while they're there, a group of men walk in like strippers, I guess supposed to be. And y'all, our boy Grant Cole from Fatal Secrets is in this as an extra. I said, I know that ain't Grant Cole. Grant Cole. If you're watching this and you're like, I don't even know what she's talking about, check out my Tubi Try Not to Drink challenge from a couple weeks ago. We watched Fatal Secret. Well, I don't think it says Fatal Secret. It's just the last one. I'll link it below. It's a good time. Our boy Grant Cole was in it. He's in this as an extra. While they're at this divorce party, Benji shows up. And him and Ava are just kind of flirty dancing. Jim is there too. I'm like, what kind of fucking divorce party is this? Like, other than the stripper sexy men, why are you niggas here? Anyway, so one of the women in the script extra whispers, again, because if an extra says a line, they have to be paid. So she whispered it. Nobody could hear her. To Rona that Dallas was out front. So Jim, bitch ass, goes out there and talks to Dallas. Dallas tries to come in. He's able to kind of talk him out of it. Good, because Benji is in there. They would have had to set it off. And so he leaves. And everything seems like it's cool. You know, Benji and Ava go back to her place. You know, it feels safe. You know, she's a little drunk. Benji drives her home, and so they're all flirty. Now, I forgot to mention this. When they had their little dumb date in the haunted woods, Ava basically asked Benji to have sex with her. Benji said no, and he was like, I want to, but also I don't want to, because I know you're only going to be trying to have sex with me to kind of get over your ex. And when we have sex, I want us to be completely about each other and you not to be thinking about anybody else. So now, fast forward to now, Ava's like, you don't have to drive back to our podunk town. I don't know the name of it because it's like an hour or so away. She's like, you can stay here. I have a guest room. And Benji is like, no, that's not really going to work for me. And she's like, okay, rejected twice. And he was like, the other night, you wanted to make love to me and I wasn't really ready for that, but I really want to make love to you tonight, and a guest room is not really going to do it for me. So y'all remember earlier when I said, oh, this movie must be Tyler going back to his roots and making a movie that is similar to the Madea movies, just without Madea. Wrong, bitch, wrong, you're wrong. That's not what the fuck this is at all, because I don't remember nobody getting eight in a Madea movie. Imagine Mother Johnson watching this movie, struggling through the cussing parts and the niggas, get to this part, and it's a full-blown sex scene. Again, like I said, Tyler Perry don't give a damn about his core audience. He really don't. He really does not. Because first of all, side note, the actor that plays Benji, baby, when he lifted up Megan Good, I didn't realize how tall he was until he lifted her up. Oh, okay, sorry. But to have a scene in this movie, a sex scene so graphic that he's like eating the box and it doesn't cut away. Not like 365. If y'all seen that on Netflix, okay? It wasn't that. It wasn't giving softcore porn. But it was very gratuitous. Like after he's eating the box, she gets on top of him and she's riding him. And it's a lot. I'm like, Tyler, what the fuck is this? Jesus, it damn near was like Mia Culpa. The only difference is that they weren't fully nude. Up to this point, I've been able to deal with it, but I was eating during the scene and I couldn't eat. Like, I was so shocked that Tyler had made this decision in this movie that I lost my appetite. I'm not even gonna lie. And it wasn't because of the actor that plays Benji, because he's amazing to look at. But it was just like, this feels so cringe. And like, this shouldn't be in this movie. It's just a whole lot of nothing that's happening in this damn movie. I mean, the characters are vapid. There's no character development. There's no, what is this movie even categorized? Is it a drama, a romantic comedy, a horror, a thriller? What the fuck is this even supposed to be, Tyler? Movie. It's movie. Movie, that's it. Okay. So anyway, so the next morning, Ava and, well, Benji don't wake up, honey. Ava gets up, gets ready to leave for work, and Benji then got put to sleep, honey. He in there in the fetal position, the sheet up to his neck. He in there sleeping good. And so Ava goes downstairs. Child, Dallas crazy ass down there eating some damn honey toasted crunchies. I said, not you in here eating a cereal. Now, this is when I was expecting to have our twist of like, oh, girl, you done signed over this house to him. This is his house now. No, he just broke in the house. So they're kind of going back and forth. And Ava is like, you wanted this divorce. We're divorced. Why are you here? Like, get your, whatever you got here, like, get it and get the fuck out. And he was like, you my wife. I want to get you back. So I got the rest of my shit in the car. So I'm going to move my stuff in and we're going to work it out. She's like, you know what? I do need to apologize to you. He was like, yeah, you got some making up to do. I said, oh, Lord. You probably going to spit on you some more, give you some golden showers. Who knows? And Ava was like, I apologize that all this time you thought that I was this new version of Ava that will let you just disrespect her, talk to her any kind of way, yada, yada, yada. But you don't recognize that that 17-year-old girl that will stand up for herself is back. And I'm a new woman and yada, yada. And he's like, bitch, what done got into you? She was like, oh, you about to see the bitch come out of me and you need to get up out my house. And I was like, okay, girl, I guess puff out your chest. But then Dallas is like, girl, get on my way. I'm about to go upstairs, take a shower. I said, oh. And we can talk about this later. So I'm thinking she's going to stop him because y'all remember Benji is like up there sleeping fetal position in the bed. Ava's just calmly walking up behind him. I said, what's about to go on? And so Dallas walking to the bedroom. Benji in there asleep. I was like, yeah, okay, I ain't going to lie. This part is probably the best part of this movie. I ain't gonna lie. If I was in the middle of giving this movie a rating, it would have gonna be a 0 out of 5. This scene bumped it up to a 1, honey, because Dallas was pissed. He saw Benji big ass in that bed, honey. He woke him up. They got to tussling. And first, Benji was getting handled. I'm like, Benji, nigga, you big for no reason. But then he put his ass in a chokehold, a little sleeper hold, and knocked him out. I said, okay then, daddy. And so then, it's fucking Tyler Perry. You could have a good thing, and then you just fucking ruin it. So then Ava's pissed off. She's like, I'm so sick of him. I'm sick of him trying to control my life. I'm tired of him. So she grabs his legs. His meaning Dallas. And she starts to drag him out of the house. Or she grabs some part of his body and starts dragging him. This is the second fucking movie where Tyler Perry has tried to convince us as an audience that a small framed woman by herself can drag a man that's like dead weight. I don't know if y'all have ever tried to move somebody that's like unconscious or somebody that's asleep. Dead weight is heavy as fuck. And there's no way in hell, I don't care how mad she is, that she's dragging him all around that damn house. Dragging him down the stairs at that. Backwards. And so Benji is like, you want my help? And she's like, no, I need to do this. I'm sick of you motherfucker. Get out of my house. I did appreciate the scene. But the whole dragging his body out was like, Tyler, base some of this shit in reality, please. Just a little bit of it. And so when she finally gets outside, she asks Benji to help. And ooh, Benji just hoists him up over his shoulder. Oh. Okay. Puts Dallas in the car. She slaps the shit out of Dallas. She's like, wake your ass up. Get your ass out my... I said, oh, I did like it. I did. This little chunk, minus her dragging him out the house, so that's hella unbelievable. But this whole little chunk of movie was the best part of the movie. I ain't gonna lie to you. This was the best part. Look at this. Look at this. What in the 1996 PowerPoint clip art is this? Tylarious. What is this? Ciao. Benji gets back to his farm and finds that some of his livestock has been poisoned. They're all dead. I said, well, this seems pointless because any farmer worth a damn has livestock insurance. I would imagine this would be covered. I don't know. I'm not a farmer, but I would assume. I feel like he's good. You know, this might be a pain in the ass, but it don't feel life-ending, okay? So Benji tells the sheriff that it was Dallas that did it. And I'm like, how far away is this damn town? The fact that Dallas just got his ass whooped, drug about this house, was able to drive back to Podunk Town, USA, and then drive back to Atlanta because we see that he's sitting outside the bank. How far is this town away? 45 minutes, 30 minutes up the road? In Atlanta, 30 minutes up the road is still Atlanta. So what, girl, okay. So Benji calls Ava, tells her what happened to his animals, and she's shocked, and she ends up calling her mom, and it's like, let me tell you what Dallas did. He's going crazy, you know, be careful, call dad, you know, make sure y'all are good, all this stuff. So mom's out at the grocery store, and Dallas pops up around the corner. He's like calling this lady out, calling her a bitch, telling her daughter ain't shit. You knew your daughter was messing with this man this whole time behind my back. And her mom was like, what is you talking about? You are crazy. Get away from me. Get out my face. He like grabs her arm and is like, you not just gonna walk away from me. You gonna talk to me. You a bitch just like your daughter. Store manager, nowhere to be found. Ain't no security in the town. There's an employee like 3 steps away, but she can't intervene because she's an extra. That would mean Tyler would have to pay her. Mama Jean ended up making it out. She leaves out and she's shook up, and Dallas again gets to leave public being a nuisance unscathed. So after Ava tells her dad, Clarence, you know, what happened with Benji and the animals and stuff, and how Dallas just kind of popped up in the house, he goes to Atlanta to set up some cameras around the house, which never come up again. Never fucking comes up. He puts cameras up around the house and he changes the locks. And he also brings some guns for Ava because he tells her that little 22 I gave you ain't gonna cut it. She had a gun this whole time. Ava has had a gun this whole time. So that night, Ava, Benji, Rona and Jim are all at Jim and Rona's house. And who the fuck walks in? Dallas. He just walks in willy-nilly. Like, this nigga don't have no boundaries. He just walked right into their house. No knock, no nothing. Just walks in. And of course, he's pissed. He's like, wow, so my best friend sitting here with the ops? Wow. Fair reaction. I ain't gonna hold you. Fair reaction. And so Jim is like, bruh, like, you are tripping. You doing too much. You gotta go. He said, oh, and you gonna kick me out? You dirty mother... I mean, fair enough. You know, it is kind of shady, but also it's a damn house. Crazy. While Jim is trying to kick out Dallas, but like half-ass doing any type of job at it, Dallas lets it out that Jim is cheating on Rona with some girl named Kelly. Who the fuck is Kelly? He's like, so does Rona know about Kelly? Who's Kelly? We don't even know about Kelly. And Rona stood on business. She said, yeah, I've been on about that. And Dallas said, oh, okay. So you know about that and you okay with it? She's like, I know, Jim been and told me about that. So what else, Dallas? I said, okay. And so Jim is mad. He's like, you gonna make me put my hands up. Jim, your bitch ass ain't gonna do nothing. And so Dallas finally leaves. And so Benji and Ava leave, and come to find out, Rona didn't know nothing about no Jim, but also Tyler. What the fuck does this storyline have to do with anything? I'm sorry, y'all. But for real, what does this have to do with anything? So fucking what? So what, Tyler? So what if Jim is cheating on Rona? So what? What does that have to do with? This has nothing to do with anything. This is such a pointless fucking plot point. Clarence makes it back home, and on the way there, he had already had a conversation with the sheriff about the situation at the grocery store with Dallas putting his hands on Jean. And so he come in the house, and he really ain't saying that. She said, hey baby, what's good? You doing all right? And he was like, so you gonna tell me that little crazy boy put his hands on you? And Jean is like, oh baby, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to know. Clarence, where you going? And so he goes and gets his rifle, and he's like, I'm about to go out there and handle this. Clarence, don't go. He's like, get your ass in the house, woman. I'm going to go handle this. I said, let your husband go, but also maybe call the sheriff. Is that an option? No, it's not an option. Just stand on the porch and cry. Okay. Okay, Jean. The mama calls Ava and it's like, your daddy, he's going to get himself killed. He's about to go out to them Bertrands. And Ava's like, okay, mama, we'll be there in an hour and 15 minutes. Bitch, what? Oh, whoa. Whoa. This town is an hour and 15 minutes away from Atlanta. So make all of this make sense. So all of this first of all, the whole killing the livestock, I'm pretty sure Dallas just called his brothers and had them do it. I'm sure he didn't do it himself. But let's pretend that that's what Tyler was trying to imply. So within a 2.5 hour span in Atlanta traffic, so probably for real, an hour and 15 minutes, Dallas has been able to hop, skip, and jump between Podunk Town #1 and Atlanta. Tyler, go to hell, please. Go to hell with this. Go away from me with this, Apollo. Stupid. The daddy goes out to the Bertrand trailer park home, and he has his gun. Dallas is there, and he's like, I'm sick of you terrorizing my family. You put your hands on my wife. And he was like, we're going to put an end to this. He pulls out the gun. Outkast has told us, don't pull the thing out unless you plan to bang. Don't pull the thing out unless you plan to bang. Why are you pulling the gun out? You don't plan to use it. He pulls the gun out. He don't use it. The crazy ass Bertrand brothers come up behind. One of them shoots him in the leg, and then they beat his ass. It was kind of brutal. I ain't gonna lie. Tyler Perry. Okay, now Benji and Ava finally make it back to Podunk, Georgia, and they find her father has been placed back in his truck, and he's beat up really bad, right? So they take him to the hospital, and Ava calls Dallas and is like, did you put your hands on my mama, and did you hurt my daddy? And Dallas is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm about to go back to my house and make love to Benji, and he's the best I ever had, and you a little dick nigga, and you ain't shit. She ain't say that, but you know. And so, of course, he gets pissed off, and obviously she's setting him up. Her plan works because she skedaddles on back to Atlanta, an hour and 15 minutes away. And so Dallas shows up at the house, and so she's sitting at the kitchen counter, and she basically just starts to antagonize him. Like, basically tells him he ain't shit. She should have been with Benji this whole time. She's like, just trying to make him matter. So he has a gun. He pulls a gun out, and she's not fazed. I'm not mad at it. Ava was not fazed. And she's just like going. And so he ends up hitting her. And she's like, you hit like a bitch. That's all you got. And so he hits her again. And so she grabs her phone. He's like, what the fuck you gonna do with that? She calls 911. Says, hi, my name is Ava, whatever. My ex-husband just broke in here. He is attacking me. Please help. And she hangs up. She didn't get no information about no address. She was on the phone for less than 15 seconds, so they can't trace the call. And Tyler, how the fuck they know where they're supposed to go? How do they know where they're supposed to go, Tyler? Stupid. Dallas ends up throwing her over the kitchen island. She grabs one of the rifles that her father gave her. She points it at him. And he's like, what you gonna do with that? And she was like, back up away from me. And he was like, well, what you gonna do? Shoot me. She shot his ass with the damn rifle. His ass went flying. I said, okay, girl. This clap felt empty. The payoff of her killing him felt like nothing. It felt like nothing. Because this movie was a big pile of nothing. Nothing. And so they go to the hospital to go get her dad. Of course, he's okay. He made it. He was a little unconscious. He's fine. He's gonna make it. While they're at the hospital, Dallas brothers and his mom are at the hospital, and it's like, you killed my baby. You think this over? This ain't over. And Ava's like, I'm sick of you trying to threaten me. Like, you can't keep harassing good people, and this is over. You better hope it's over. I said, okay, girl. And then the movie ends. This movie is trash. This movie's terrible. This movie is awful. This movie, I didn't think it was possible for Tyler Perry to get worse. I just didn't. I didn't fathom it, that he could possibly get worse. It was storylines all over the fucking place. The characters are vapid as fuck. There's no character development. It was terrible. And I'm at the point where I feel like, Tyler, you can keep hiring and casting all of these big name black celebrities, or I guess not big name, but well-known black celebrities in your movies. You can cast them all until you're fucking blue in the face. The best actor can't outact a poorly written script. For me, I think this might be my last Tyler Perry movie that I'm gonna watch. I've had enough. He does not fucking care about his audience. He doesn't like black women. Black men say they don't feel seen or respected in his movies. And at this point, I just feel like, what's the point? I am not under the thought process that I need to support black things just because they're black things. I don't believe that. You can be black owned, black produced, black directed, black led, and still be high quality. That exists. That happens. And I feel like, for me, enough is enough of this fucking shit, Tyler Perry. And because he has a deal with Amazon, this ain't gonna be the last one. I don't know what his contract is, and he had Mia Culpa on Netflix. I would assume there's a contract with Netflix. I don't know if that contract was fulfilled, because he had the Medea movie, Medea Homecoming, that was released on Netflix, plus Mia Culpa. So I don't know if it's like a 2-film contract. It could be more. I don't know. But what I do know is that this is the last movie for me. The only thing good I can say about this is that Corey Hardrick did a good job. Megan Good did a good job, and she looked amazing. the actor that played Benji, whose name I don't remember, is fine as fuck. Okay. I would love to see him in more things, just not more Tyler Perry things. And that's all I got, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments below. What you thought about Divorced in the Black. I'm sorry, y'all, this video is probably pretty long. Longer than probably what I intended it to be. So hopefully, y'all made it through to the end of the video. And as always, y'all, like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm not gonna see y'all next time for another fucking Tyler Perry movie. I can fucking goddamn guarantee you that. But I will see you next time for something else. Thank y'all for y'all support. And y'all have a good night.
Ay,
bye.
I talk my shit and keep it honest, keep it independent. I hear them hating, but that's only cause they inconsistent. He said the weapon wouldn't prosper, now they wouldn't form. I'm about to